This week, I restart my initiative to create Get It Done podcast for accountability and sharing what I'm working on. So this is Get It Done 5, where I do a short recap on what I've been working on in the last 2 weeks without having a Get It Done goal set. I explain what I'm working on with 10 cuts, my video processing pipeline that I'm working on, and I show you the tasks that I will be the 4 tasks that I will be working on for the next 2 weeks. Enjoy!
Welcome to Debugging Dan, where I share weekly my journey, balancing life, a full-time job and side projects. I'm Dan, your host. Let's dive in.
Episode 20 of Debugging Dan. And I didn't do these Get It Done for a few weeks because I was kind of out of it. And I decided, well, I'm kind of out of it, but let's go and let's get back in track. Maybe the focus needs to lie a bit more on building instead of the side projects and trying to monetize it, since I'm currently in the process of really enjoying the building and trying to focus on that to keep things flowing. That feels like a good flow. So I will mostly be building in the next couple of weeks and less on side project marketing, SEO, and stuff like that. But building is also fun. So what am I currently building? I'm currently building something I've nicknamed Dan Cuts. Like there are several video editing programs, Cuts Pro. So the internal working name that I created is Dan Cuts. It's not going to be a final name. I don't even know if the tool is going to be public. It is something that I plan to use for myself. So the idea is that, as I explained in earlier podcasts, you can listen back, of course. But the short summary is you have a video, you upload it somewhere, and then all kinds of automatic processing is done, resulting in one or more output videos that I can then easily use on a different platform like shared social media, YouTube, which is also social media, or somewhere else, maybe create thumbnails, other stills. That's the idea. And I'm building it using Next.js, which is a new technology for me. I have been working with Express and Preact in Node before, but Next.js is using React. It runs on Node, but it's a very different programming experience, as I found out, since there is no long-running process you can use for background tasks, for example. So I built other stuff for doing that. And the focus currently is just building it for myself, but with a twist. So normally when I build for myself, I just build it pretty fast, not that pretty. And when I'm building it right now, I am trying to do the difficult things right. So proper loading and error state. So when something fails, show a clean error message instead of just showing an alert or something like that. So that's what I'm trying to do different. I'm doing task running. So you have upload a media file. There are several tasks that are firing off. So what I want to do, also when I'm doing it for myself, don't want to have to log into my server and check out what the log messages said when a task failed or doesn't complete or something like that. So what I'm also adding from the beginning is to add that traceability on those tasks. What I'm going to show you is what I have until now. So this is my Sissy, the web UI or the web developer framework from Kitsei, where I'm building it in. So there's a list of media uploads. So this one, that's the only one that I'm working on. I can view the details, and there I can see the different tasks that are available. So the first task for this run is to download the file from the Telegram bot. And then the next task that I'm currently working on is extract audio. And I'm still pretty much working on the basics. So I did already build a servers in Python for extracting transcripts, and also adding captions of those transcripts on top of the video. And here I am implementing the front end basically for those different tasks. So here is after the video has been downloaded, I can extract the audio because I need that to upload that to the other servers for the transcripts. And what I'm working on is displaying the configuration. So configuring here where from the flow the input file goes from for extracting the audio. There's output that I can show here. Output for the Telegram download is a file you can view. And there are different files that could be linked to a task. There are files that are available on the top level. Did I click right? Well, it's not loading, or I don't have a loading indicator, but I think it's going to load in a couple of seconds. Yep. So I need to work on loading indicators there. And these are different audio elements that I've added, or audio elements files that you can look as part of a run or a flow that has been running. And once I have the basics there, so I'm still working on extract audio to make it possible to configure it. And once Telegram download is done, that extract audio is run automatically if all the information is there. Else it will pause until all the information is completed by the user. And I'm still working on those basic mechanisms. And the idea is that once I have those basic mechanisms in place, it's pretty straightforward to add new elements here. And that's how I often also build. So there's a lot of work going on under the hood that you don't really see progress for in the UI. And at some point that's done. And often that's also the point where I lose interest in the project, because the exciting part of building that underground layer that I like is done. And I hope for this one it will be different, because I do really have a concrete goal for this project. And that's what I will also be showing further on in this podcast episode. So if you're listening via the podcast, that's okay. You can see this, but you can check out the YouTube video if you're interested in how it looks. Currently on the screen, there are 2 tasks showing, and there is some information there. I can even switch to the responsive view. That's also what I'm trying to do right now correctly the first time. So that's one of the reasons why I'm using Sizzy, is that it easily allows me to show a responsive view. There's mobile here. And yeah, so that's done cuts, what I'm working on. And yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's taking a lot of my time, but yeah, it's using new technology. So I like learning Next.js. It kind of fits what I did in the past. Is I did my own kind of front-end, back-end framework combination where I was able to share types at least. But what I like about Next.js is you don't need to explicitly define the API endpoints. You can just invoke a server-side action, which then returns the data, which is automatically serialized. So that's something that I like about Next.js. There are some things that you need to learn, ways that things need to be done. And that's what I'm still learning, and hopefully doing it the right way eventually. So in the get it done in the past, I had some tasks defined. So I was working on events. So I was updating What's Your Number to track meaningful events, so that I could, for example, track when I posted to social media, have that somewhere available on the timeline so that I could see if there's a spike in website visitors or social stuff, that I could see, hey, that could be related to the thing that I did here. I completed that, I uploaded it. I've used it once in the past this week when I shared this week's podcast episode. I often share a clip or a screenshot, but this week I didn't share a clip because I had no camera view. So that wasn't a really fun thing to share, just having the green screenshot of the slide. But probably this week I will be able to share the introduction again. I've been working on social strategy, and Dencuts is part of that. I haven't written content. I do have ideas for content. So what I'd like to do in the next period is, when I'm building, when I solve something that I find interesting on how I solved it, what I want to do is I want to do a write-up of that, record a short video, and even just create a blog post from that, short, and see how far I get away with automating that. And what I also did there in the Get It Done is I wanted to build the first version of the robots.txt tool. And that's also in Next.js. So I started working on that, and I want to do that or continue with that in the coming period. So for the next 2 weeks, I have these tasks defined for myself. I want to have the handcuts to a useful point, and that means that I can extract the audio, I can add captions, and I can download the video again so that I can use it for clips for social. And in the meantime, or in the future, I also want to add some things like automatic summarizing of a video and using that for something else. Perhaps even find hotspots to create clips for and then automatically extract those clips from my podcast video, for example. I want to do some more posting on social media. That's the second item. And going back to Dan Cuts, I also want to have, that's also an important thing, is besides being able to upload a video and add caption to that, or perhaps audio, also audio, I also want to be able to reuse existing flows. So I want to create a flow saying, hey, post to social, and then that it automatically does some automatic steps, and then I can then post it to social. And it could also be cropping for Instagram, changing it from portrait to landscape, things like that. So socials is the second item that I want to do for my Get It Done for the next 2 weeks. So that's starting on Monday, the 20th, I think, of October. And then for 2 weeks, I have these items then planned, and doing a different podcast on after the first week. I want to create content, so that's the third item in relation to content and also to socials. I want to define a way of working so that I want to find out for myself if I have a interesting code item that I want to share. How will I share that? Will I just first record my screen, separately record the video, somehow combine that? How do I create a blog post out of that? How I do this? How do I do that? I want to visualize that for myself so I can start creating it. That's something that I need to think about, and making it explicit in this Get It Done will hopefully help. And besides building on Dan Cuts, I also want to continue on the first version of the robots.txt tool. I still think the idea is cool. It's an interesting tool, and it's also something that might resonate with some people. So that's why I want to build it. And it's also building Next.js, so it will be learning more about Next.js, and it's also doing some other interesting tools and things. So that's why I want to continue with that. I already have the domain name, so let's continue with that. So that's my Get It Done update. Compared to 2-3 weeks ago when I had issues with my life-side balance, my energy now is a lot better. And that's probably because I've been building more things. It just turns out that I really am a technical guy. I enjoy creating the podcast. I am dreading it when the weekend starts. Oh, I need to prepare something. But when I'm recording it, I enjoy it. And I need to make the pre-production and the post-production easier and simpler. So I can share things more easily. I need to find a way to make this room setup better and easier. And and I just realized that I haven't been sharing my screen. I never switched. No, I did. Funny. I was looking at the wrong screen, so I switched, luckily, to sharing my screen also. So I won't be cutting that out of this recording because, mistakes happen, and I find it funny. Maybe I could even make a blooper reel out of it. So sharing my screen, having these 4 tasks, and thanks for listening. Leave a comment at the video, the podcast, like, rate, subscribe, and have a good one. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Debugging Dan. If you enjoyed this episode, Please subscribe and leave a review. Stay curious and see you next week.
So the thing is, 2 weeks ago, I bought a really cool light that should light me better when I'm recording videos. I wasn't able to use it last week because the camera didn't work. And idiot that I am, I forgot to turn it on this week. So I figured I'd make this additional video. This is me with having it on. This is turning it off. Turning it off again. Turning it on again. And it has buttons for changing the light color. So this is more white. This is more yellow, which I think the yellow is working, or the white part is working better, and I can also increase, decrease the lighting. So this is me just winging it. I didn't prepare it. Next week, let's hope I remember. Have a good one.